man.
Remix. 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 Remix.
What it do, niggas?
Morning. Morning. How y'all doing?
Good
Welcome,
morning, people, especially black people.
especially black people. Friday remix.
Yes,
Amber and Lorik and our third host is somewhere in the wind, but I'm sure he'll be here soon.
we gonna find them.
Peace. Chitty Maka, how you doing?
Thanks
But
for joining, guys.
wait, do we have an echo again? No, no, no. I think we're good. We checked. We checked, yo. No tech difficulties this time.
No, I was
Peace
setting
and
my
good
mic up
morning.
on my computer and I hit it.
Ah, okay, okay. Just checking, just checking. Oh, all right. Unfortunately, there's not going to be much time for overtime today. I do have to go like right around 10-ish, maybe
I
maybe
gotta go
10
too. I got a
minutes.
live.
I know. I know you do. What you doing today? We
I'm at a
start with the end.
conference.
Amber always at a conference, y'all. If y'all don't know, Amber is a public speaker,
No,
uh,
no, no, no,
a
no, no, no.
policy expert, a party
Y'all just
planner.
be y'all just be catching me in conference season. It's like peak conference season right now.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Also, my mom did watch last week. She said she liked you and that she hoped you weren't upset because she was saying you were the echo. And I was like, Amber's not gonna be mad because you
No, I
said
didn't care at all.
she
Sorry,
wants
Lori's mom. Everything's fine.
she wants you to like her. So,
That is so sweet.
so yeah, yeah,
Most people's moms, really love me. So I get it. I get it. I'm a
yeah. Energy.
catch.
Wait, I changed. See what happens? I changed our check-in question to be appropriate. This is the tech that we're
What
dealing with every
the
day.
one that says, "When did you first learn about Black August?"
So it's here. What? Okay, okay, it's here. I don't know what happened. I on my screen it reverted back to what are we watching? So I check in to
Oh,
get us started. As always, chat, join in, answer, or provide some thoughts. We'd love to see it. But Amber,
hmm.
when did you first learn about Black August? I don't even know if I exactly remember this. So when did you first hear about Black August or learned what it is?
Um, I would say most likely in like 2021 during like some organizing I was doing. I was living in Louisville, Kentucky, organizing around Breonna Taylor's murder and working with the BLM Louisville chapter. And I think they had did something, and I was like, "What is Black August?" And that's how I got like really into it.
Wow. You and Geechee done lived in Kentucky. What was it like?
It was lit actually. They just got a really interesting accent. I'm not gonna hold you.
Really? That's
And they
okay.
really loved Big Red. And I didn't get the hype. But I will say there is nothing like going to White Castle at 11 p.m. and getting a large Big Red with ice. It really is crisp and delicious.
The
But
White Castle.
but I feel like it only tastes good at the White Castle. I didn't like it when I bought one like in the store. It didn't taste the same. It didn't have the same like
Okay.
hit. Like that first
What's the Big
that first
Red?
hit of a
Hang on.
cigarette type shit. That's what it felt like.
What's the Big Red? Wait, because I was thinking the chewing gum, like the cinnamon.
No, it's a drink. It's a like a red soda. It's like
I
really, really
haven't.
popular there.
Let's see. I haven't had that before. I'm
I
not the
wonder they
biggest
even
fan of
sell
White
it in
Castle.
Florida.
Well, we have White Castles here. I will say. So the first time I heard about White Castle, now we off the like, but it was my mom who used to hype them up like crazy. The same way people from the West Coast, like LA, hype up what's that burger spot? In and out or whatever. And then I had it and I'm like,
Mhm.
this is just a burger and fried. So my mom
I
used to
mean,
hype.
I feel like their food is good. Like it is better than like a Crystals and definitely better than like. I feel like In and Out is just like a brand, and they're like popular because they're a brand. But White
Hmm.
Castle is actually good. But I remember it was a big deal because some of the like it was like either one of the like founders or owners of White Castle or something like that were like going against the folks in Louisville around the policing shit, and they had like donated a whole bunch of money to the police foundation. So they was like boycotting them at one point. Then they was like doing actions at the White Castles. It was crazy. It was lit.
I don't like
Them
White
burgers
Castle, man.
did hit, and my unpopular opinion, I think their best food item is the ooey gooey butter cake on a stick.
See,
It's fire. You get that little ooey gooey butter cake, you warm it up for like 10 seconds in the microwave. It's delicious.
the ooey gooey, but see, Big Red ooey gooey butter cake. I didn't. These were not the things that were recommended to me. I just had the regular menu. I had fries, onion rings, maybe some
Mm-mm.
tenders, a burger, and all of them were nah. It wasn't. It
Them
wasn't hitting
chicken
for me.
rings is good. They taste like the
Eh.
chicken rings they used to give us in elementary school. Them burgers is what I usually get. I usually get the burger or like the breakfast menu, the little mini burgers. I'll get that or the breakfast menu. I don't really eat their fries.
I had one of these smoothies. No.
Oh
Mm-mm,
no, why are you eating a
mm-mm.
smoothie from White Castle?
It was like supposed to be a fruit
Ask
smoothie or
yourself that,
something.
brother.
That's a great question. I don't know what I
Hmm.
was doing, but I will say it. So my big brother used to take me there for Valentine's Day when we lived in New York. Yeah, because you could get your own seats, so people would go like, "Oh, it's our first date" or
Aww,
whatever. So he would take me there, and then he would just stuff himself. And
that's
I was like,
hilarious.
man, I don't know,
John
but
said, "I'm
everybody loved
being
it.
35 miles from the nearest castle." See, people like White
That's
Castle.
what I'm saying. Apparently, so unpopular theme. Sorry, I derailed this. That was on me. So you
It's
learned
a
about
little
Black
late.
August
Burger in 5 minutes.
2021. I think I learned about it around the same time. I can't remember
Okay.
exactly when. I think I just learned what it was. Um, Probably around the same time period. And I want to say I got
Yeah.
sharpened around it, like maybe started practicing it more when I know Black Men Build has a wartime like newspaper that's dedicated to Black August.
Hmm.
And I got to remember what year that came out in, but I would say that was when
I
I
do
started
remember that.
really getting sharp around it. This says, I think it's saying 2026, but I'm pretty sure it was earlier, way earlier, fall 2023. That was when we had our wartime special edition, which I highly recommend as a resource for Black August. I'm going to show it on the screen here. Um, if you've
And you can
never
go
seen
download it,
this,
right?
you can always go download it on our website. Just type in wartime. But this was the fall 2023 edition. And in it, which I really appreciated, we have exactly what is Black August, right?
Hmm.
How you can, uh-oh, uh-oh.
Okay,
Soon as
brother.
Geechee came in, echo back. Hang on, echo cancellation's on. Hopefully it works out. Sorry, as I was saying, in it, you can see, sorry about that, different things, you know, how you can observe and commemorate it, what you're not supposed to do, some things you can do. And then my comrade Randolph, who's been on here once or twice through Embrock, wrote an article just kind of celebrating, explaining what it is. Now my partner want to blend stuff. This is anyway. Hopefully y'all can hear that. What makes a political prisoner? This article, two blacks written an article on political prisoners, which is great. And then long live Dr. Mutulu Shakur. So this was a dedication to ancestor Mutulu Shakur. We also had a mass call called the General of His Home, and that was one of the first things I also saw about Black August was when some brothers in BNB interviewed Mutulu before he transitioned. And so that's available on our YouTube channel. But this is the resource I'm going to be handing out today, just talking about um, Black August and things like that. And on the back, it is a lot of our political prisoners, some of whom have been freed, and some who are still incarcerated. So we know Elder Leonard Peltier has been free now, but Kamal Siddiqui and others stay behind bars. So that was how I learned and kind of transitioned my practice in Black August. Geechee, that's what we're talking about, although I know Geechee's away right now. Um, but Amber, how have you changed how you practice Black August over time?
In the past, I like when I first learned about it, I started reading Blood in My Eye, and I did like this study series with some of my friends. We were doing like I'm in Bold, so we were doing like Joe practice and stuff. And for folks who are in Bold, they know that we do like a daily. They do like a daily practice. So during Black August, we do like a daily practice with the Joe and stuff. And I did that, which I think is a really good way to center and like part of like the physical activity part. And then yeah, I was reading that book with my friends, and I posted about it. I find that every year I post about it, people get more and more into it. So I try to make sure I post something about it. And then 2 years ago, I started teaching Black August classes. So I started doing a Black August Freedom School for the month of August. And the first year, I did 2 classes. Thank you so much, John. He said that mic is extremely clear. I know that's right.
Mhm.
Um, and then last year I did 3 classes. And then this year I'm back to doing 2 classes. But last year and the year before that, I did virtual and in-person classes at the same time. So like people who were on virtually were also like in the classroom with us on like the screen and stuff. And although I really, really liked it, I think it's better just to just do only virtual so I don't have to manage 2 things because I was doing it on myself. I was I'm managing it well, but I was like, I think it'd just be easier on me, so I'm gonna just do virtual. So this year I'm doing virtual.
Peace, Geechee. Amber, two things you just reminded me of. Oh no. All right, we're echoing again. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, first of all, last year was when we first started doing Remix, and you were doing the Black August class. So that was actually when we first started hosting together. It was you doing that Black August class. I think I remember you talking about Nkrumah and Cabral and some things like that. So definitely tap into Amber's Black August class if you are privileged enough to be able to take it. And then the second thing that I thought was dope was you being in bold. So, like I was saying, Amber has a long resume, and when she speaks, she reveals a new piece of that resume every single time. So I did not know that. But my bold comrade, we are actually going to have a Black August launch. We did it last year, July 31st with Bold, where they had some guided meditation, some breath work, some grounding for the month. And we're going to do it this year on my birthday, August 3rd. So this Monday, if you tap in with Black Men Build, we will be having a Black August grounding and launch with Bold. So just excited for those things. Geechee, we might have to take turns muting, and that's all good. It'll be like a Zoom call. Geechee,
Yeah.
what's up? How you
What's
doing
up?
today?
I'm good. How y'all feeling? Can
I
y'all
think
hear
it's
me?
okay now. Yeah.
No, it's
It's
just
working now.
no, it's so when I'm talking, Amber got to be muted, and whenever I'm on, I just got to have my headphones on because it's somebody little feedback. So watch
That's
this.
so great.
Mute Amber. See, now it goes away because whoever got headphones, you could cancel the noise. But Amber don't have headphones; she just got a mic, so it'll if she don't mute it, we gonna hear it.
But I don't hear any feedback. Lori, do you hear some feedback?
It's been weird. Yeah,
It's
now
only
there's feedback.
so when we talk, if you're not on mute, we gonna hear it because you don't have headphones. If you got headphones, we won't hear it.
This so ghetto. I'm not putting on headphones.
Yeah, I know it's rough.
I
It's
mean,
rough.
not I'm not putting them in. Like, I don't want y'all to think I'm what they
Debo.
say. Yeah, no, I don't have any headphones. That's why I didn't put it in.
No, this is interesting because
Amber Baby D. Amber Baby D.
Oh my
she
gosh.
she
Anyway,
bullying
what I'm hearing
y'all.
from Lori is it's our 1 year anniversary of hosting together.
it is. It's coming up on it. Yep, yep.
And I'm teaching classes starting on Monday, so should be a
Is there
time.
registration for people?
Yeah, I put it in the private chat so you can put it in the description thing, in the show description.
What are you teaching class at?
It's virtual.
That's even better. How many you
And
got? You got a lot of students.
I saw someone in the chat said They really liked the classes too. I think it was, oh yeah, it was Sayla. Sayla said I enjoyed them very much, Amber. So that's why I moved to virtual. I feel like more people wanted to come. They weren't in Memphis, and I wanted to be more accessible.
You talking about the Black August? Nice.
Yeah. Um, so got that question for Geechee, and yeah, it has to be that Geechee. You're right, because I know the episode we tried to do with Jared this week also had an echo whenever Jared would come off mute, and that I know Jared doesn't wear headphones either. I'm pretty sure that he just
No,
uses a
he
mic.
does.
He does.
Yeah,
Interesting.
he
I,
wear the
I
Bluetooth
don't know
one.
if he was wearing them
He
that
wearing
day.
his
I think he just had a
AirPods
mic.
usually.
Ah, okay, okay. So we're still trying to work through that. Thank you all for the birthday wishes, by the way. I appreciate the early
Yeah,
birthday wishes. Thank you, thank you.
happy
Um,
birthday.
Geechee, when did you first hear about Black August, and then what's changed from the first time you heard about it to now, and how you practice?
Mm, I mean, I think the first time I don't really remember. I probably was in Baltimore. Um, and I don't know that anything has changed per se. Like I think I even remember once I learned about it, I was already kind of like working out and riding my bike consistently. So like working out and studying, I kind of already been on it, and I think it caught. I guess I caught onto it afterwards. So nothing that I can think of other than like more focus on political prisoners and like intersecting with some of that work, but nothing noticeably for me has changed.
Do you fast? Amber, do you fast?
So go ahead, man.
My bad. I was just gonna say no. I don't fast. I can't fast for medical reasons, but I do usually fast from doing something. Like
Hmm.
last year, I think I didn't eat fried food, and since I was teaching the class, I buy them food for the class, and so I bought like healthy options for the class too, and people were actually very grateful. So that was cool, and I turned people onto like some new food spots that I usually go to that I know have healthy options, and people were like, "Oh, you know, they did this." So yeah, that's usually how I do it.
Good, and that is fasting, yeah. So you take, well, not the complete, fast the way they practiced it originally, but you are taking something away intentionally. So definitely. Geechee, you?
Yeah, so I've been fasting yeah before that. So I normally do intermittent fasting daily, but there's sometimes when I might fast. And then to me, going raw for like a period, like sometimes I eat raw for a month or two, and that's very similar to like a cleanse, but it's not like a religious thing I do. Other than the intermittent fast, don't eat until 12.
I'm similar. I to Amber, sorry, or I pick something to give up, but I don't participate fully in the um, fast in terms of no food. And some people do no food or water, but I know a lot of my comrades actually do commit fully to the no food, no water part of the fast, and so um, yeah, a lot of strategies you have to deal with so that you can have the energy to keep going and doing your daily tasks. So I respect everybody, however you choose to fast or participate, definitely. See some people in the chat talking about how they participate, fast regularly, Leah says. Also, Amber, you got to sign up for your class. So again, I dropped the sign up for Amber's Black August course in the
Hey
chat, and I'm gonna
guys,
add it.
I saw it's art with words said Amber. What is the time zone for the 6 to 8 p.m. Freedom School sessions? It's Central Time, so it'll be 7 to 9 Eastern, and 4 to 6 Mountain or Pacific. Yeah, but that's great. Okay, so I'll be emailing out the schedule tomorrow to everybody. So if you signed up, you'll get the schedule. Some of it is like some of the basic stuff from last year, like the first What is Black August class, but the rest of it is like some more advanced stuff. And then I also have all copies of the books that you'll be reading excerpts from. So I'll send you a Google Drive that has all those books in it. And then for each week, there's bonus material and bonus optional like books that you can read just if you want to read them.
Amber's gonna give you some readings. I remember when Amber used to complain about my readings. I remember those times. Now we all reading. Check out
You see how
also.
black people do you?
I just knew it'd be full circle. Now you're right with me. Yeah, people could complain to you about, yeah, why are we gonna do all this reading? I wanted to promote also what we got coming on the platform, something I plan to participate in to the extent I can with my schedule, and that is Black August Study and Struggle Book Club, being hosted by Tandy Sundays at 5 p.m. Pacific, and that's going to be reading through The War Before, and it looks like another one, Stand Up, Struggle Forward. So I think it's going to be two books that we're working through. Not sure how that's going to go, but if you see on our page, if you just click on live, you can see all the sessions have been scheduled out. So that's going to be Sunday study group, Black August book club with Tennessee's Way on Rootwork. So check that out if you're interested in participating in some book club. That study element of Black August is important. All right, now I know we have some interesting stories today, and Ear Doctor lined us up with one on the thumbnail. So I'm thinking we might want to start our news just addressing the thumbnail. Y'all ready to go into some news? Get into this Black Panther? I'm gonna take that as a yes. Now, where is our? You see, can't find nothing. There it is. Let's go.
You on mute, bro.
Man, I clicked the button. Peace. Welcome to Friday Remix. Amber, Lord, Geechee. About to get into some news, something that Ear Doctor and Jared had put on our radar. So I figured we talk a little bit about it. I don't know how much of this video we can get through, but there is a new Black Panther. There is a new Black Panther. And we've had this discussion on the platform before, this show particularly. He's British. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. British
Hey, I
actor
love my nigga
David.
Davy. I'm rooting for him.
So can you tell us, Amber, a little bit about this person? Because I'm actually not familiar with the actor at all.
Yes, David Johnson's actually a great actor. He is British, but you really wouldn't know because he hasn't been in many British shows other than Industry. Industry is a really good show based in London about the finance tech scene. And then he was in a book based off of he was in a show based off of a book or movie. It's called Rye Lane. It's like a rom-com. It's really good too. And that's like one of his older works. And then he was just the star in The Long Walk, which is adapted from a book about people from each state who go and take this very long walk, and you have to keep walking the whole time until all the people behind you are dead, basically. And he like avenges somebody's dad who was killed by the government because it's like this dystopian future type of thing where the government is like I mean similar to the shit we going through right now, but like the government's on like this authoritarian type shit, and if you don't follow what the army says or you say something that's against the government, they come and kill you and your family type shit. And they kill somebody's dad who did the long walk thing, and then he like avenges their death at the end. It's really good actually. And I thought he was a really good character in that, and I think he would also be a great Black Panther. First of all, the nigga looked just like old boy, which is why when we bring up somebody being British, ignoring the fact that they're Black or African, like he's still Black and he does look just like him. I don't know if y'all seen them sides, but he looked just like him. I don't feel like they picked a good picture of him, but whatever.
I was about to pick some more. Can you say more on this thing in the chat about him being a cop, apparently?
I don't know about that.
Me either. Okay.
It's a Stephen King book. Yeah. Yeah.
Amber's
Not my
explanations.
explanation. Better than the movie. Yeah, I agree. So It's artwork where it said big fan of his work on Ryline Industry and Alien Romulus. The only one I haven't seen is Alien Romulus. But The Long Walk is his best work today. It really is. I'm not gonna hold you. That movie, he ate that shit up.
I gotta check it out.
Oh no, they're saying no. The Black Panther is a cop.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're gonna get into some of the confusion, I think, in this discourse, but let's check out Rolling Stone. 5 things you should know about David Johnson, the new Black Panther.
I think they picking bad pictures of him.
They might have some more in here. Okay, here's one.
That's not how he
Simon.
look right now for real, but they doing the brother dirty. I ain't gonna hold you.
Let's see.
He
Okay.
looked just like a regular nigga though. I mean, to me, he looks like Damson Idris but queer, cause he is queer.
He's queer. Oh, that's gonna be a big part of the pushback. Yeah, I see.
Oh, I saw it on Thursday. They already talking about some. He's queer, and y'all always want gay people to come over here and get into ours. I was like, girl, shut up. Exactly what Tommy said. Homeboy is an incredible actor. And
He's
I feel like,
queer.
why do we have diaspora wars about dumb shit? Like, British actors are not in that many movies. So him being in 3 is actually pretty good. The brother getting cast a little bit because the other ones ain't getting cast that much.
We said this before, though.
No, Manifesto, I'm saying he looks like the original Black Panther, but queer.
T'Challa. Chadwick.
Chadwick Boseman. He looks like, to me, he looks like him, but queer.
I'm
I
gonna
feel like let me pull up some pictures because I feel like they're not showing good pictures of him. The brother
Sure thing.
dresses like queer.
Yeah.
Like in the show industry, he had blue hair. Like he had his own like aesthetic thing going on.
I'm gonna mute you just while I read this article, Amber, and then I'll go on mute. You can talk about the pictures. Okay, so it's 5 things about the new Black Panther, David Johnson. I found him. He's the guy. David Johnson. Faye recalled Coogler telling him on a call, I'm going to meet him. So Coogler is the one who picked this character. He's the guy. I feel it. I felt it in my soul. He's a good man. He is the next Black Panther. David Johnson's from London and the youngest of 5 siblings. He was born in East London, England, described his neighborhood as a community-oriented despite the challenges it presented. Growing up in Custom House, he has spoken openly to Hollywood Authentic about the violence in the area and how it shaped his perspective on life. Okay, so I guess some sort of urban or inner city, quote unquote, community. Not being funny or nothing, but where I grew up, there were stabbings every other week, month. I went to too many memorials, he shared. Depending on where you grow up, it takes what is possible, what you think is possible. So Johnson's 32, so he's not a young, like a 20-year-old or a teenager.
We're the same age.
Me too, right now, currently. He starred in multiple films and television shows, which Amber was telling us a little bit about: Rylane, Alien Romulus, Industry, and then The Long Walk. He's also worked behind the camera as a writer and producer. So he has a few upcoming projects, things like that. Let's see, number 3. He's an award-winning actor, and then this is more pictures of him. He was the BAFTA Rising Star Award, all of these things, HBO's Industry. He shares a birthday with Beyonce and Damon Wayans. Okay, very Rolling Stone, kind of tabloid info.
A Virgo, yeah.
September 1993. Got it. Almost a month after me. And then he founded a production company. And independent filmmaking continues to grow. Johnson is also taking charge behind the camera. He partnered with Sophia Gibber to launch his production company. Okay, so here's some basic facts about the new Black Panther, David Johnson. And Amber, if you have some photos or some things you wanted to share with the people, and then I want to get us into this FBA whatnot video.
I just want to share this side by side about how they look because I want people to understand that this is definitely peak casting. Not only is David Johnson an amazing actor, he looked just like the brother. That he looked like that's his son. That's good casting. That's all I'm saying. The movie don't come out to 2028. If he need some little skills, he need to do a little something. He got time. It's okay. I think we'll be fine, guys. Because apparently the people on the internet are stressed out. They worried about this British actor shit. And I was like, why do we care? I don't give a damn.
Can I say something to that real quick? Um, so I see in the chat, Dre's mentioned Coogler's openly FBA, but then he cast this character. What I was gonna say about the FBA thing, yeah, so I think we might have slightly misread this. It's not just a user FBA, seen some other people say it. So, and I had this conversation with Renee. He says FBA, but he's not saying it in the way that it's kind of used at this cult-like movement. He was just trying to pick a term that is used to describe African Americans. Why not African American? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he saw FBA and was drawn to it. But to me, it seems similar to how certain people grasp onto a term that they feel is accurate without like fully engaging the climate around it in its context. So when you hear him in the interview talk about FBA and sinners, he's actually talking about our Africanness. Like he's saying that he has African ancestry, that we're a specific type of African people. So it's not FBA rhetoric like at all in the interview. Even if he picks that term, he is specifically talking about our African roots, our African origins in a way that FBA don't. Like they're the flag and bio people, right? So I think I said this with Renee, like there's terms for what the specific African American nationality call ourselves that haven't been fleshed out yet, and like honestly can't because we haven't even gotten like national flag independence, like in a neo-colonial way, like Jamaica or Bahamas or anything like that. So since we don't have our own nation like that, we're gonna have this issue. So like African American is a term, but a lot of people don't like that. New African is a term, but then as we know, New African and Afro American, if you talk to like Malcolm, apply to all Africans in the Western Hemisphere. So Jamaicans and Bahamians and Haitians would also count as New African or Afro American. And so if there's no specific term to refer to people whose ancestors have been enslaved in what is now the USA, then we're going to keep searching for that term. And so if it's African American, we'll search for that. And maybe people don't like it. If it's ADOS or FBA, which I think are way worse than African American, I think people are going to grasp onto that because it just the word signifies the thing. So when you say FBA, you know people are somewhat talking about Africans whose ancestors were enslaved in the USA. But even that isn't perfect. So I saw Ryan Coogler as more saying FBA just as a term to pick rather than aligning completely with the ideology, because otherwise, why put so many African elements into the film? But that was just my take on that. We want to get into the FBA's being mad about the new British Black Panther. I think that was funny. So Jared said us this. He was a little frustrated. I understand why. So FBAs are mad about the new British Black Panther. Now, Black Panther is an African, so this is all just deeply confused. But okay, let's see what the people are saying.
This short, ugly British African David Johnson that Hollywood has been trying to force on us for the past few years is going to be the new Black Panther. I hate this. Will not be watching it. Number one, because I am so tired of British Africans taking black roles in Hollywood. I am tired of it. There are so many beautiful, smart, intelligent, talented Black American actors and actresses who get stuck in Tyler Perry land.
I need more American slave. Okay, like struggle. Yeah, the struggle. I sort of like the dialogue, like the back and forth banner. Absolutely.
I think it's funny, that skit. Do I think it's helpful? I don't think it's helpful.
It feels like everywhere from Hollywood to the political system, everywhere are trying to make British Africans like the face of Black people in America. And my full-blooded foundational Black American self is tired of it.
When you say foundational Black American, it's some type of subgroup or something that's going to just cause confusion. We're talking about a lineage, so it's not something that you can choose to join or quit.
So there are a lot of Black British actors that work in this country. All the time. So I tend to wonder, what would that movie have been with an American brother who really understands that.
right. This is the discourse. This is the the issues we're dealing with right now. There's pressing issues in our community. So, um, initial thoughts. I'll go on mute. Been talking for a second. Amber, if you want to go, Geechee.
So one, Hackney and Newham and East London, is a big ass hood, and different parts of it, and it's black as shit. So I'm never gonna get this. Even the dude said something about like all the British Africans are being black or playing black, and I don't know what the fuck is black is at this point. Like, which English accent has the best representation of being black is the wildest arguments that I could think of. And then in terms of like the Hollywood and political system, what that person said, as if they're separate. I don't know. It almost honestly like ADOS with less power and less influence is like Trump and his diversions of like, oh, look at this thing, focus on these things, and they're just having this goofy ass conversation that. Yeah, I think I've had the luxury of not participating in it yet, and I don't think I'm gonna participate in too much. Like I don't see these people. I don't know. I don't see these people on a daily basis, and I don't see them online either, other than when they interact with Black Liberation Media.
That's valid. Amber.
Yeah, I just think it's weird, especially the other guy saying that they're trying to force him on us. The nigga been in 3 movies for real. I mean, he been in 2 movies and a TV show. He was in industry for the longest time, and that's a British show. Like it's literally in London about the London finance scene. So I think people just be dramatic. Like that Rod Lane movie that he was in, really good movie by the way, years ago. That was like maybe I think it might have been 10 years old at this point. It's an older movie, and then he really didn't do a lot in between then. But I also feel like why shouldn't have to be counting like that. Like it's not that serious. I just don't think any of it's that serious. I feel like people are like really hung up about this thing that's just not a thing. They're making it a thing when Black American actors get plenty of roles. I think what we should be discussing is the system that only allows Black American actors or Black actors in general, because they're all Black. Because he's saying Black, like playing Black is weird. Like he's Black. But we should be addressing the system that doesn't allow them to play other roles. And so they get stuck in the same ones. And so they're always all vying for the same role because they won't let Black people do anything but be drug dealers or murderers or in love triangles or cheating on their wives. Like they don't have regular roles for them, which is annoying.
I don't even think it's that much focus on the role. I think it's more so of niggas is vying for proximity to whiteness, and I think Black Americans are afraid that the proximity slots that is close to whiteness is being filled up by some other Black folks. And I mean, what the fuck is the prize? Like being in a movie that fucks up people's capacity to understand history or any nuance? Like what the fuck is I mean, I know it's serious for actors and people who want, but be honest, like I don't even think like if you ever talk to like the working actors, like the people who are not in the big films, majority of them probably will. I would like to hear them in this argument because I'm telling you, I don't think this argument is that intelligent, and I know it's important, but it's just not really. Like honestly, I know we're gonna get to it. The people, the AI prompt who wrote that government document that we're gonna look at, they make better arguments than some of these ADOS niggas that I if I understand the argument correctly, like you might as well let AI, FBI write your next critique of Africans, ADOS people.
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all. I was gonna say I don't understand the fundamental logic to this, right? We all know the major distraction, right? It's the same as the Helen of Troy discussion, which is that like we're talking about representation in a white-owned, white-controlled Department of Defense screened and CIA edited project like Black Panther. So, well, what's the prize as we've been pointing out? But even within the universe's logic, right? Okay. So this is an African, right? Wakanda is in Africa. So if anything, Africans on the continent could make this same sort of conservative argument and say you're coming over here taking all our roles. Black Americans have all of Hollywood. And I think I said this last time in the discussion, like coming to America, you got Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, African Americans playing Africans, and that's offensive. And we should be casting continental Africans instead, right? So why can't they make that role argument about Black Panther? Additionally, the FBA, who was still the same, he was African as well, he was Wakandan, but Michael B. Jordan was the villain in the first movie. So even that, like, where's the discussion about that casting? The one Black American character is the antagonist. But this whole thing has been this kind of liberal Pan-Africanism the entire time, right? So we got Angela Bassett playing Queen Mother. You got her daughter being Letitia Wright, Black British woman, and then Chadwick, who's African American, and they're all playing these African characters. So it seems really bizarre. I wanted to point out again, there's another conservative argument someone can make. Chadwick's son, who somehow is going to get aged up to 32. I don't know. I stopped watching Marvel and Cape shit after the Endgame thing. I have no idea what's going on.
I don't think he'll be 32 in the movie. I think he'll probably be like 18 or in his 20s or something.
Got you. Okay, so he'll be, an adult essentially. Somehow they're going to age him up so he can be the new Black Panther. His name is Toussaint, so he's supposed to be named after a Haitian liberator. So why can't Haitian people say we had one role for us? We finally had our comic character. You cast a British person, or you cast an African American. So this just goes in circles, like endlessly. I also, just to the point of the grift, Tariq apparently used to come to London and sell his In Living Color series before he started the FBA ideology. So yeah, we just know the ideology is cult-like. It's coming from somebody who's a grifter. This point always, but he says something like full-blooded Black American. There's no such thing. There's no DNA strand that says USA, right? Or when they say lineage, they're trying to say ancestors enslaved in what is now the USA. But as we've talked about many times on this platform, Spanish Florida was around in the 1520s, right? And enslaving Africans. Jamestown, 1619 isn't the only origin. So if you were an African enslaved in Georgia before it became part of the US empire, are you not FBA? What if you were an African and your ancestor was enslaved in Georgia and then they shipped her over to Panama? Are you no longer FBA? So this just, it makes no sense. It's such like a European form of thinking, like Game of Thrones, like we can trace our pedigree.
So I got offended actually by this white boy asked me. He was asking some questions and then something, and he was like, "So you're a full-blooded American?" And I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean, bro? Like, bitch, even if you test niggas' blood, they will show they're not from America. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, this shit is, bro. I don't know, bro. I don't know how not to get mad at a conversation. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck that doesn't even mean? A full-blooded American? And I know it's said a lot, but what, I don't even know what that means. I don't really understand that. So if somebody got a better definition or even what is being meant by that, like you've been in America long enough, so your blood is.
You're Geechee, so I guess you would be, again, like you would have one of the strongest claims to FBA-ness or ADOS-ness as somebody who's Gullah Geechee, which is just very funny to me because, again, the Gullah Geechee people, you can clearly see the ties to Africa, so it just doesn't work. I was going to add, there's other elements to this and we can move on because I think this is a pretty moot discussion, right? What's the prize? We already said it. But there's another discussion about like gender, right? Because Letitia Wright was Black Panther after Chadwick passed. And so people were like immediately in a rush, like, we gotta get a man back. We gotta get a man Black Panther. We gotta, you know, he's gotta be a man. He's gotta be have the muscles and all that. And it's just like, well, why not? Why not? Right? Chadwick is gone. Shuri is the character that makes the most sense. There's a lot of stories you can tell with Shuri, right? She gets one movie, which they had to pivot on at the last minute because of COVID and Chadwick passing. And now it's like, no, I gotta do some plot shit to age up the son, right? Now let the son be 10 years old or something, and let Shuri be Black Panther. So I even think that's a whole discussion that you had to immediately rush. A woman couldn't play the role. That's the big casting issue, right? Not about the nationality of Black Panther, but about the gender, I would say, of Black Panther. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. I'm not, I mean, I won't see. I'm not actually going to watch the movie. I don't, did I even watch the second one? I can barely remember anymore with these, but good to know the same kind of discourse keeps happening over and over and over again. And it is very much manufactured, I would say. I think somebody pointed out that the person who they had at the beginning of the video is like some conservative gay Black commentator doing that kind of thing. And so, again, I don't think this is anything revolutionary. To this last point, Voiceless says, if I were to strongman the argument, I think he's trying to paint British Black as trying to fit in the model minority role. Yeah, I agree. I think that's fair. And I think that's probably the only part of this conversation that might be interesting or worth critique. Kind of like what we talked about with the Drewski thing, is the market for maybe roles in the UK versus Hollywood. But this is just a labor thing, right? Where we're going to say, like, as American imperialism expands, they're going to keep trying to draw in labor from everywhere. It's naturally going to happen. The NBA is the same way. So now the NBA's got a bunch of European white boys from Croatia. You got African players from Senegal, things like that. And you got Paul Pierce saying, "What kind of? There's no African players. There's no good African players." He's saying that on his podcast, while there are NBA players who are from Africa right now. So I feel like it's the same way with the Black British, you know, diaspora finding their way to Hollywood. It's a labor thing. As the industry expands, they're going to draw in talent from everywhere. So we're going to get Africans from the continent soon. We're going to have South African actors. I just saw a show. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but highly recommend it. It's called The Polygamist on Netflix. It's a South African show. It's in Zulu, and it's English sub. Bro, it is so good. It's a telenovela basically. Like, it's a drama about this one man who's got a bunch of wives, and it follows his whole life and all that. And it's a Netflix like sponsored series now. So we even have, you know, our own versions. I remember what was it, The Game? If y'all watch that show, we had our own versions of just nonsense and drama and soap operas. And now South Africans are going to have that. And then I'm sure Nigerians will have that. Nollywood was already the third biggest movie market in the world. So as these things grow, we're just going to see more Africans from around the world in our spaces. And that's just going to happen. So that's all I have for this story. New Black Panther. If y'all see it, let us know. I don't know if anyone here is going to be tuning in. Maybe we could hop to the next story. Amber Geechee, y'all got a pick between, we got the Cuba report, we got AI.
I was going to play this little clip right quick.
Go for it.
Because I'm just not seeing it. It's one of the Black Panther white boys.
Joe, can you speak to that a little bit? Because I think that you did craft such this realistic story of T'Challa's self-discovery as Black Panther, you know, as T'Challa. Can you, and ultimately made Wakanda feel like a very real place. Yep. Can you talk about some of those decisions on how to accomplish those things in the script?
Yeah, I mean, we started from the canon. So we looked at the canon, we saw what was there, but and obviously he was introduced, as Kevin said, in Civil War. But what we wanted to do was to personalize him from our experiences as African Americans. I said that there's a couple things that we talked about a lot that me and Ryan talked about that we shared, and it's this idea of never seeing ourselves as a hero on screen, and the idea of having a disconnect from our heritage and understanding, you know, the question of what it is to be African American, and that dialogue between those two things. And so we would sit and have conversations about you know, how that made us feel, how to imbue that within the parameters of the stories the story that we
Nonprofit
wanted to
workshop.
tell, how to craft the shape of our story to be able to navigate that in a way that is fair and but is that grounded and truthful as well. And so it was a lot of just talking about the characters, talking about how this character sees that dynamic. And you know, and when you look at Wakanda, you know, what we tried to do is we tried to pair there was innovation versus tradition at times. People who wanted things to change and people who really held on to the way it was. And so we tried to take characters and look at them with that paradigm and put them in scenes and situations where we could, you know, in a way kind of express those perspectives dramatically. And we also did that in a similar way with Killmonger and T'Challa in terms of their perspective and that dialogue between, you know, African and African American.
Kevin, when you first got that first draft of the script, was there anything that particularly excited you about it that you just weren't expecting, or?
It was the first draft was very long, as you recall. It was very, very long, and there were a few subplots that went away. But what was very exciting about it was how rich it was. I mean, it was not just the story of one man. It was not just the story of Black Panther. It was the story of this country. It was the story of the women of this country. It was the story of Shuri, his brilliant sister. And that's what was exciting, was seeing the world building begin on the page that Joe and Brian were putting together. And there was one line, I think it was in that first draft, one line that remained all the way through the film, and it was Killmonger's last line as he's dying.
Yeah.
And it was so powerful and so strong. And I think we sat down for notes and said, okay, well, we're going to have a lot of notes and lots to talk about in the big picture, but this line can never change. And Ryan said, I thought that was the one note you were going to give, was we have to cut that line. And that was
so who has the power in this situation?
Navigating the relationship, but we only wanted to do this movie to do it right and to do it in a very big way.
One thing that should be said is how supportive Kevin was and how supportive Disney was in terms of
Kevin and Disney
making a very personal movie and putting in things like that
obvious,
and not having
supportive. They let you do
the conversation trying to explain why that needs to be in it, but just the support of what that is and trust.
No threat. Absolutely not. Fuck Kevin.
You know that scene in The Dark Knight where Bane goes up to that banker, and the banker's like, I've paid you a small fortune. And he's like, do you feel in control? And he just puts his hands on his shoulder, and the dude just like shivers. That's that's what this interview looked like for me. It's a whole panel of white folks, one black person who they're letting speak.
We made the characters talk. What the fuck are you talking about?
Ryan's like, I thought you were gonna cut this, and he's like, No, I thought it was great. You just, do you feel in control right now? That's what that looked like to you. That's crazy stuff.
Bro, listen, the funniest interview I ever saw in my life was Kevin Hart and his white suitor who does the liquor. And Kevin was like, yeah, we took the agave plant and he was like, anyway, and then he started answering the question seriously because Kevin couldn't answer the question, and he tried to act like he had to at the beginning of the process, and he's a business owner. He's literally the sideshow, and he doesn't understand it, but the white boy understands it. So every time they ask Kevin Hart a funny question, he answered, but the serious question they go to the white boy. But yeah, that was very similar to that interview. Lord.
Yeah, we gotta. This just needs to be shown, like with this movie. Like who's in charge of this film? Yeah, like it's clearly not us. This is not our movie. Ryan has to like cross his fingers and hope that the line that gets to stay in the movie. They get to eliminate subplots. They're like, oh, there are a lot of subplots, so we just, like with subplots. I'm actually kind of curious. Like, what things did y'all think needed to be cut so that we could get that white CIA officer as a main character in this film? So all of those things, I think, Geechee, that encapsulates it pretty perfectly. This film is very, very much co-opted. And what's scary about it, if we're being real, is it is probably the most, in terms of sales, not in terms of our community, popular Black movie, like in the world. and that's just in terms of sales. I know Sinners is getting up there, but yeah, Black Panther worldwide probably the most popular black movie, which is just scary to think about. Another thing I think they get off on, and maybe it's a generational thing because that dude might be Gen X, he might not be a millennial like us or younger, is this like, "Oh, we never see each other on screen. We never saw ourselves on screen." I think Gen X really like gets that the worst, right? Because of that post civil rights era and integration and all of those things. But that representation trap they fall for like crazy. That's not the case, like for us. I don't think that's true for 90s kids because in the 90s, and we talked about this before, there's like a golden age of kind of pop culture where Black Americans, they hadn't been like, we haven't been fully co-opted yet. We always are being co-opted, but we were like the main battery of a lot of pop culture for youth, like Disney, Nick, Cartoon Network were drawing on, like look at all that, theme song for that, the hip hop, That's So Raven was like the blueprint where all the Disney comedy and Hannah Montana, Wizard Where You Place, all those things. Like Black pop culture was very popular. All the sitcoms, Fresh Prince, Different World. I feel like white America, a lot of other cultures as well, colonized people in the US looked to Black American television, controlled by white people, of course, as like their cultural kind of template. So that whole, we didn't have, there were more Black love interest on screen in the 90s than there are now, right? Now you get Zendaya and a Chase Infinity and a bunch of biracial women. But we had the Nia Long era, where she was like the top, person that everybody said they had a crush on, or Sanaa Lathan or something like that. And as far as the superheroes were concerned, growing up, we had Static Shock. That was like the main one. It was like Static Shock. We had a Black Green Lantern. There were Black superhero characters that
I
were
love
probably
Static Shock.
right, like super popular. So I'm just confused on the like we didn't have it, we didn't see it growing up. I'm like, everybody saw Static Shock growing up. So it's just really bizarre to be like, oh no, we didn't see that. We didn't have Black representation on screen. Like, were you a 90s kid or what? That's just not even remotely true. So Blade was another one. Yeah, exactly. We had Blade before Marvel had even kicked off for real, before Wolverine and Hugh Jackman entered a lifetime contract and turned Marvel into its thing. So yeah. But it's my thoughts on the superhero discourse. Any other last thoughts? RIP Static Shock creator Dwayne McDuffie. Yeah, definitely. A Meteor Man. What year did Meteor Man come out? I remember that was my big one growing up. Meteor Man was 1993, the year I was born. Yeah, so I watched Meteor Man. I don't know if y'all remember the Disney Channel movie, because Amber, we're gonna have ours. Up and Away. It was a Black superhero family. Like 100% remember
And the
this film.
dad on the movie, I really love. He's a really good character. I can't remember his name right now, but he was like a really foundational Black character. He was in a lot of stuff, and I loved him.
Yeah, and wasn't one of the Jeffersons in that movie? Let's look at the cast real quick. This will definitely be one we have to watch. Amber, Color, Friendship, Up and Away. But let's.
Amber said he's a foundational Black. Well, he's a foundational Black from the foundation.
Well, I don't sound like Cabela. Hey, don't do that to me. Not too much on me.
So this is Up and Away. The original. Let's see. This is like the
dad.
Robert Townsend.
What was the
That's what I'm thinking
cast?
about. Robert Townsend. Yes, him.
Robert Townsend, yeah.
Oh, Robert Townsend made Up and Away too. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he was in that. He was
Man,
anytime he's in the movie, he made it.
that's what I'm saying. That's some fake. That is some fake. Like again, this manufacturer. We didn't see ourselves. Robert Townsend's in this movie. I know this actress. I can't remember exactly from where, but yeah, Sherman Hemsley's in this movie, right? So I just remembered this film a lot growing up. So yeah. This is kind of a fake narrative, I would say. I would say like Black pop cultural representation probably declined once they started finding out that they could just cast white characters to do these same roles and then give them a Black best friend or a Black sidekick. So yeah, I think that's worth discussing. And yeah, Robert Townsend was giving us good content. So just strongly disagree with the narrative that brother's spinning, but he needs it so that Black Panther can sell itself, you know. All right. I feel comfortable with this. I think we covered it thoroughly. We covered one of your doctor's thumbnails, so no one's confused. Y'all want to get into some other stories? Anyone got something, you can drop it in the private chat, or I can just pick one at random. But we got a lot
You
more to
should want to
cover.
talk about the Cuba shit.
Let's talk about the Cuba shit. Well, we can start with an article and then we can get into the report itself. I mentioned it a little bit. Also, shout out Black Myths. Apparently, Two Black and Dr. CBS had an interview about this. I also know CBS was on Black Agenda Report with Margaret Kimberly talking about it too. So, all right, let's see here.
They talked about his article already? Oh, the FBI thing?
About the report, yeah, the State Department. Well, the Black Myths episode isn't out yet, but I think Margaret and CBS are out on the Black Agenda Report TV YouTube channel. So check this out. It's The Guardian. Front groups and fellow travelers. State Department attacks U.S. left over Cuba. New report denounces Havana and claims campaign of subversion has infiltrated the highest levels of U.S. government. And of course, the people they have pictured here are Zoran Mamdani, Ilhan Omar, and Hassan Piker, the greatest revolutionaries we have today. And so I celebrate them during Black August. So we had, as part of the Trump admin's continuing attack on left-leaning groups, the U.S. State Department has listed several activists and organizations as front groups and fellow travelers for Cuba, including Hassan Piker and the Amazon Labor Union founder Chris Smalls. In a 100-page report released on Monday, the State Department denounces Cuba as the capital of 21st century communism, accusing the Cuban government of carrying out a campaign of subversion that has infiltrated the highest reaches of the U.S. government, recruited and cultivated generations of American activists, and backed an unprecedented wave of left-wing terrorism on American soil. The State Department report alleges that the so-called campaign is designed to turn America against itself and singles out several left-leaning activists and organizations, including the Democratic Socialists of America, Isra Hirsi, the daughter of Minnesota Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar, the New York City Mayor, Zoran Mamdani, and journalist Amy Goodman, citing their criticism of U.S. policy toward Cuba or participation in Cuba's solidarity movements. So here's the report. I find it hilarious, the title, and maybe Geechee, you could start us off with what you observed. I think a lot of us were able to tell there was a little technology used in the assembly of this report. So this is Cuba, the capital of 21st century communism, prepared by the Department of State under the leadership of Marco Rubio. And I think the table of contents is telling. So Geechee, I'll let you start us off.
Well, let me pull up mine. Since I mocked that shit up like a subway in Harlem. These motherfuckers are crazy, bro. Let's just start there. And the AI use is it's fucking ridiculous. And it actually probably, I don't know, I think they trump themselves, because just the language that they're using, right? These motherfuckers was beating y'all ass for 7 decades. 7 decades. Most durable, damaging foreign intelligence penetrations in America. These niggas fucking y'all up on that little ass country. And little ass island fucking y'all up in some type of way that y'all gonna organize AI documents of 100 motherfucking pages. Revolutionary infrastructure designed to turn America against itself. That chronically failing economy, right? For decades. The motherfuckers been failing for decades. With all the sanctions and the embargoes and all the other shit and this type of fucking shit. But they failing for 7 decades. While they was failing for 7 decades, they have funded and organized other revolutionaries all around the world. This little ass country is just destroying the U.S. Like these they talk about Weather Underground in here. Most of the stuff is just blatantly lies. Like, for instance, there's certain things that you can go try to search for the actual report or whatever happened, and
it won't come up.
some of the shit never happened. There's one point where it said something about, oh yeah, China largely rendered the Soviet model of communism extinct. The Cuban Marxist project not only survived but thrive. Oh, so you just said it was failing for decades, but they thriving somehow. Leninism, Stalinism, and Maoism, at least in their original orthodox form. Castro's ideology projects now enjoys something approaching ideological hegemony in the leftist circles, with both within and beyond the West. So again, there's a lot of dumbass, bum ass quotes that they have. They kind of show their hand. That perception was only heightened by Khrushchev's foreign policies of peaceful coexistence with the United States, which seemed to forfeit the dream of world. So that they tell you that Khrushchev fuck with them, and they fuck with Khrushchev. This dumb shit right here. They even acknowledged that they gave some harsh government crackdowns. So they agreed to the McCarthy issue of prosecutions. At one point, as you can see this for all the people that be saying Asians don't like Africans, there's a whole lot of Afro-Asian solidarity up in this motherfucker all over the place. African-Asian solidarity and, blah, 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 blah. So that's interesting. And then at one point, again, this shit is stupid, and I know y'all know they stupid. At one point, they was pretty much saying that the African people or people who fighting against them was able to settle their fucking quarrels, right? And they said a cohort of radicals, which had previously been divided into squabbling rival factions, into a disciplined and unified movement. So now, granted, some people just don't even need to be in these revolutionary spaces, so there's no quarrels to settle. They need to get the fuck up out of here. But for the most part, most people be on some bullshit, arguing and beefing about other stuff, and can't get your campaigns and political work off the ground because niggas don't know how to disagree. So that's it.
I've been talking for a while. Amber, you got some thoughts? You heard about this or seen some things?
I had read part of it. I agree with Geechee on like the blatant lies part. I mean, I know there won't be any repercussions for them lying like this, but I just want to point out that there are people who are gonna for sure believe all of this shit. They don't have no real reading comprehension skills. They don't realize it is written by AI. They don't think about the fact that half the sentences don't make sense. They don't even think about any of that. They're gonna just soak that shit up, and that's really what's dangerous. The spreading of propaganda that people are fully gonna believe is what bothers me the most.
I also think there's a opposite possibly. I think this is show you how weak they are. Like these motherfuckers. If a paper tiger was a real thing, then this will show that these motherfuckers are paper tigers. They are actually more afraid and confused than anything. So I think this is actually a damn near something to celebrate. If you really on the left, I think you should probably be celebrating how stupid these motherfuckers are and how obvious they are as well. Like, I mean, read their sources, the CIA, government. Like some of the shit is so painfully contradicting. Like I know for a fact somebody just put that bitch in AI and then just post it. Like I can't imagine that anybody intelligent proofread that motherfucker. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the things I find entertaining is that there's so much AI, like just stereotypical things. So one of the things is if something says it's not just this, it's this, or it's not blah blah blah, this is a blah blah blah. Like that is probably the most classic. Like teachers can tell you used AI. It's not just a movement. This is a highly coordinated da 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 da. It's not just the subterfuge. Blah, 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 blah. So like there's a bunch of that. If you look at this, it's even in here. I think at the beginning. Where it says Let's see here. Regardless, sorry. The most important chapter, in my opinion, is Racial Revolution. I find it hilarious. They try to use, Stokely Carmichael. They refuse to use Kwame Ture, which is always funny. But I had that broadcast I did earlier this week with Sundiata, Two Black, and Jared on internal colonialism. And again, there are some bougie academics who will say, "Oh, it's just an analogy," or "I don't know if I agree with," right? But then you look at all our ancestors and revolutionaries and elders, and they all agree with it. And then you look at the Feds, the State Department, COINTELPRO, and they agree with it too. So I just find it very funny that here it just starts with Black power means we see ourselves as part of the third world, that we see our struggle as closely related to liberation struggles around the world. Kwame Ture, Havana, 1967. It goes on to, again, this is supposed to, for the audience is always funny, right? For white America, this is clearly for white America, right? Nobody in Black America sees this list and is like, "Oh man, oh no, like this was an amazing list. This looks great." Right? So like, this is what's funny to me. This is supposed to make you scared, I guess, or clutch your pearls. Like, oh man, you have Assata Shakur, Malcolm X, Angela Davis. Oh no, like, so there's a lot of that. But I do find what was great in here, it talks about Black identity extremists, another term that exists before this. It tries to talk about all of the ways that these certain communist or Pan-Africanist figures are popular, right? How they've gotten mainstream appeal. So Angela Davis ran for CPUSA vice president. She was distinguished professor at UC Santa Cruz, Times Woman of the Year in 1971. And so the whole point is to say she has some mainstream appeal, and that's what makes her dangerous. We've talked about the mainstream appeal is actually somewhat diluted her revolutionary history and message. I'm trying to find when it talks about Black nationalism. So another reason I find this report very, very useful is somebody who grows up in Miami and has to debate non-Black Cubans all the time and has been told many times, "You don't know what you're talking about. You haven't been to the island yet. Castro hated Black people. Che was racist." Source, the CIA, right? They never have any receipts on this stuff other than "grandma told me so," or "my grandpappy said that Castro didn't like Black people," and your grandpappy was at segregated social clubs in Havana. But in the report, it talks about
funny to me.
The real joke here is that Castro put your grandpappy in the blender, and that's why that's why you mad. But he did not. He was not Dessalines. He actually let a lot of them come to the U.S. and we got to deal with them. But they'll let them tell her he was the worst person. You had him in gas chambers or whatever. So what I find interesting is all the receipts they provide, right, for those people. So you could just go to Rubio's report now, and I don't have to pull out my own Black history, pull up my own independent research and scholarship. I'll still do all of those things. We still have the interview on this channel if you all haven't seen it. Cuban Black Liberation, that's with Elder Otis Cunningham and then his partner, Professor Lisa Brock. So there's two of those series that Jared and I were able to coordinate on this channel. But Rubio is just going to say it himself. So he points out that there was a long procession of Black musicians, athletes, celebrities, and activists who were invited to visit Havana. They were greeted with a red carpet welcome. Again, apparently this is a super racist country, according to white Cubans who live here. And so it goes on to say Castro signed a $287,000 a year contract, more than $3.2 million a day, with an all-Black PR firm in Manhattan to promote Cuba as a tourist destination for American Blacks. Not Black Americans, American Blacks, by the way. I love how they, with lowercase v. But these are not the racist ones. The racist ones are the Cubans, right? Anyway, what Cuba did not merely try and cultivate, it actively sought, so okay, it did not do this, it did this, very AI. To transform their racial grievances into revolutionary conscience. Castro made no secret of this. He talks about it. Fidel Castro says one of the most worrisome is the plight of the U.S. Negro. As he sees it, the best way to end discrimination would be for Negroes to rise in arms against imperialists in Washington, taking their cue from Castro's own revolt. What would happen, he asked, his eyes alight at the possibility if the Negroes in the southern U.S. so often lynched were each given a rifle. So nowhere in this report does it address any of these problems, right? Like the lynching, American Blacks, we don't get any of that. The State Department doesn't talk about how the U.S. solved the problem of lynching or tried to do anything. No, everything is just that Cuba's a villain. It talks about a lot more. We can keep going, but Robert Williams is discussed here. And what's interesting is it doesn't really discuss how there are splits, right? Or how there were tensions, right? Robert Williams did not have the same experience as Sada Shakur did and eventually leaves Cuba. So one thing that this thing does is paint a really broad brush to show that this network is somehow highly coordinated and everybody's aligned and we all work together, to overthrow white imperialism. But it doesn't really address the actual history. So it's useful for certain receipts, I would say. It's useful for showing that Cuba and Black America have had a long history together. But I would say it is not, historically the most accurate. So there's just more pieces here, but you can just see all the names that's listed. An open letter condemning the U.S. government-backed invasion in the Bay of Pigs. The authors, which included, check it out, Robert Williams, Amiri Baraka, and W.E.B. Du Bois, framed the U.S.-Cuba conflict in explicitly racial terms, condemning a gang of ousted white Cuban politicians who currently run Miami, by the way. And so this is just a really great chapter. I think we can get into the fellow travelers piece. I'm sure that it'll be covered more on this platform. I don't know why it won't let me put a space, but there's Black Alliance for Peace that gets listed in here. And so it talks about Black Lives Matter. Amber, that's you the new front, apparently. So it's talked about Asada Shakur, again, tries to make her terrible. And it talks a lot about people. So there's Black Lives Matter grassroots. There's Black Alliance for Peace. I think they talk about Asada's daughter. Yeah, there you go. Chicago-based BLM offshoot. Again, is that the most accurate way to describe this organization? I don't think so. But just very interesting to see who they have listed here and what they're calling the new front. The Black Lives Matter for showing solidarity to Cuba is apparently a terrorist organization.
Bro,
I'll be back. My
this
contact's drying out. I can't see nothing.
this black the Black Lives Matter joint with the when they said how, obviously after the George Floyd protests, Cuban state media and officials issued daily commentary portraying the United States as a systematically racist country, morally unfit to criticize Cuba's human rights record. So imagine you're a police officer, you're armed agents of the state, constantly killing black kids at a apartment complex play area without even the car still moving. And they shoot a baby dead. Shoot babies in houses playing video games with their cousin. Shoot women sleeping with their husbands, boyfriends. Knee a nigga to death on the streets. And you're talking about fucking Cuba, bro? Like this document, like I'm telling you, these niggas is... I can't do it, bro.
Yeah.
I read. Yeah.
Okay. So I do recommend people look through it. It really is centering on a lot of key figures, but Asada Shakur comes up all throughout it. And just again, who is this for, really? Because it's very clearly writing to the Republican white nationalist base. Because no Black people, other than the most conservative coon, is going to see this and be like, "Oh yeah, man, I think Cuba's the problem." In this scenario, it says that the president of Cuba gleefully supported the George Floyd uprisings. But again, no discussion of why those things happened, any of those things. It's this perpetual victim framing, which is, again, every accusation and confession, how they try and talk about us, that we play the race card, that we have a victim complex, and all of these things, right? And nobody's more of a fake victim than the Cuban exiles or the Zionists. And so we have them both in Florida, of course, and then the anti-Venezuela folks as well, who come from that diaspora. And they are the largest victim complexes you will ever see in your life. In fact, what's so fascinating about them is quite often non-Black Cubans who have lived in Florida for maybe 1, 2, 3 generations at most will come here talk about the land of opportunity, spin the American dream. So definitely model minority status. But they'll also compare their experience to that of Black Americans very often. And so you'll hear that as an excuse for why Black Americans shouldn't be complaining, why we have all the opportunities in the world. Look at my grandpa. He came here with the help of the CIA and the State Department and the Catholic Church and was able to make a name for himself. So why can't y'all? That's Rubio's story, although his family left even earlier under the Batista dictatorship. So all of this to me is just very telling, right? They're not addressing any of the things that actually caused Assata Shakur to become the celebrity, quote unquote. That's what they're framing her, celebrity that she is around the world.
No, even Robert Williams. Robert Williams is a regular ass radio nigga in Cuba, American radio nigga in Cuba who just got the radio to spread Cuba shit. Not that he was forced out of his own fucking country because he wanted to protect Black women from being raped and killed by white fucking terrorists. And he shot it out with them niggas and won multiple times, in so much that them niggas did not come by them niggas anymore. Yep. That's what he did. So like, man.
Yeah. But I think these kinds of documents can be helpful as study tools because you can really see the playbook. This is the Gusano playbook, like through and through. So if you are in any area where you've been exposed to white or kind of brainwashed comprador Cubans, all of these arguments are present there. And so you could just work your way through them. In fact, they give you a lot of evidence that works against them, like we just said with George Floyd or with Assata, with Robert Williams, and with Kwame Ture. There's so much evidence that does not work in their favor in this report alone, which I find is interesting, but how they continue to try and frame everything is very common. Another really common refrain you'll hear from Gusanos, and unfortunately, it just spreads to a lot of communities. What's interesting is there's a sort of natural resistance that the Black community has to this side of propaganda. And I don't mean natural like we're born with it, just because of our historical experience. So you actually won't find as many Black Americans who fall for it. We're often very suspicious of Cubans, same way Black people are suspicious of the Jews, but what we really mean the Zionists in our community, because so often we have experiences with them that are just extremely racist. And so from there, like just like me, from my childhood having racist experiences with these people, you're automatically suspicious of kind of anything that they start telling you about their history or about how their culture works because of that. And so I always find that pretty interesting. One, in Miami, because of the African-American experience with white racist Cubans literally being dropped into our community by Operation Peter Pan, but also by Caribbean communities that we have. So you'll have a lot of Jamaican and Haitian folk who actually know the history of the Caribbean, know how Cuba actually behaves, went to primary school in Jamaica where they were taught real history of the region and taught about Fidel Castro. And so they also come over here and inform our people a lot more and inform our communities. And so that happens too. So I was in the barbershop in Miramar, big Jamaican community down here, and they were talking about the extradition of Raul Castro on the radio. And as they were listening to that, all the Jamaican men were sucking their teeth. And I was like, what you think about this? And they're like, it's bullshit. He's 94 years old. America has nothing else to do. So they were very clear on the politic and on the history of how Cuba works. So even that kind of exchange is why I'd say the Black community in Miami is a little more insulated from this propaganda than a lot of other communities, including the Hispanic community that comes in here, listens to Spanish radio, kind of gets brainwashed once they touch down. But it's my initial thoughts about the report. I think I had one more area, Geechee. I don't know if you had anywhere else highlighted.
No, I mean, I got to mark that whole thing up, but I feel like the suspicion is not enough, especially with so movies. Y'all just talking about Black Panther. Movies help turn the suspicion not only at the U.S. from our experiences that they say we can't articulate on our own. We need Russia, Soviets, China, or Vietnam, or Cuba to let us know that they fucking us up over here. But the propaganda works so well that not only you have suspicion of these liars, but the entertainment is so good by your black actors that you also have suspicion of these liars' enemies. So you'll say some shit like, well, America be lying, but, you know, communism, capitalism, same thing. Socialism, capitalism, same thing. Like, you know, you said the racism thing in Cuba. So, yeah, like, I mean, yeah, you're watching somebody who make you love the bad guy in their fucking movies. So if they make you love the bad guy, like you still love these niggas. Like you still love these, as horrible as they've been to you. I can't wait to actually this semester we're covering from 1860 up till like tomorrow, and you know we're gonna try to do some Black Liberation Media stuff, but I can't wait to see students' response to like constant documented, especially Morehouse students in particular, because I think it's undeniable. Like I think it's going to be hard to get somebody to agree with slavery, a black person to agree with slavery. I think it's going to be hard for them to, but whenever they can tie the same institutions, the same political divide, the same power relations from then to now, yeah, I just don't think people have the brain capacity to critically read. So the whole damn United States. And you know, I know one group who's not going to be carried away by this, the Cuban people. I bet you they can read that motherfucker and see the contradictions, whatever. The most randomest nigga on the block can read that shit.
And be like, this is just a lie. Yeah, I mean, this is and thank you, DT, for saying that, because again, the appeals to you don't live there, you don't have family there, blah 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 blah. It actually makes a lot of people retreat from critiquing how white Cubans and their allies act. But the lies are so blatant. It's the same as I say. It really is same as Zionism, right? Where if you just have some basic facts about the region and the history, a 10-year-old could just say like three basic facts. Hey, you know, didn't the British give you the land? Hey, didn't the Palestinians live there? Hey, didn't y'all's founders say that you were going to ethnically cleanse it? Right? Those three things alone, and the argument just falls apart. There's no argument for Israel that can sustain just the basic facts of how they got that land. And it's very similar for Cuba and for Gusano. So a common thing is, you know, Cuba's so poor, blah, blah, blah. Even certain Puerto Ricans, as they're living through this crisis after crisis, will be like, well, we don't want to end up like Cuba. Well, baby, you already there. You're just not free, right? But the critiques are common. It's just, you just have to say, hey, what about the blockade? You don't even need 3 points. Give them one. Hey, what about the blockade? And if a person responds to you, it's not the blockade, it's the government, they've already just stop the combo there. It's not going to go anywhere. Like literally just pull out. It's the same as debating a Zionist. If they say Israel has the right to exist, I'm not wasting my time today. Just go about your day. Because if people are going to act like the world's #1 military superpower, blockading your entire country for 60 years is not affecting how it develops, and it's actually just some elite cabal of Cuban, that's somebody who's brainwashed, indoctrinated to a point that they're not going to listen to reason anymore. And again, when I talk to our folks in community, that tends not to be the case. They're actually more open to hearing the reality, the truth. But even here in this document, they spread the lie. Well, ordinary Cubans. So it's again, we're just trying to protect those innocent Muslim women. We're just trying to protect those innocent African women who have been genital mutilated. It's the typical colonizer playbook, right? So ordinary Cubans suffer the full brunt of the nation's failed state, dealing with severe shortages for essential necessities from food and energy to basic medical needs. And so it just talks about how they're blockading it, but then says it's the nation state's fault. So literally, you know, why are you hitting yourself as they grab you and brutalize you? So I would just say that's Gusano debating 101. What about the blockade? As soon as they blame the Cuban government for the blockade and don't talk about the U.S. in the conversation, they're trolling. That's my last take on this story. All right. We got another one coming up. So let's switch to the CNN, how AI is making your life more expensive. Amber, you want to read this one? I'm ready to scroll. I'm here.
Yeah, I'm ready. Sorry, I couldn't see y'all. AI is making your life more expensive. Here's how. AI is raising prices for Americans and not just electricity bills. Major technological innovations carry the potential to transform economies by creating opportunity, jobs, and even new industries while supercharging productivity and growth. That's a lie. However, that promise of longer term gains often is preceded by short and medium term pain. Longer term gains. Okay. In the case of artificial intelligence, that has included job losses, slower wage. This is propaganda. Okay, I'm sorry. Slower wage growth. I feel tricked. Widening wealth inequity, and especially in recent months, higher inflation. Recent data shows that the gargantuan interest in investment in AI adoption, estimated to be around $750 billion for this year alone, have pushed a variety of prices higher, lifting overall inflation in the process. The higher inflation means that households must spend just over $375 more to purchase the same goods and services as they did this time last year due to AI's inflationary impact. How does AI have an inflationary impact? That's the real question. Mark Zandi, chief economist of Moody's Analytics, wrote in an email to CNN. The good news, AI is still just a minor contributor, an estimated 0.2 percentage points of overall inflation, and the impacts are currently limited to a handful of categories. But the not so good news, AI is pushing inflation higher and higher, further compounding long-standing affordability concerns in the process. Plus, these price pressures aren't expected to go away anytime soon, and they very well could broaden. Ain't none of this good. Okay. Scroll some more. That potential dynamic has Federal Reserve officials, including the central bank's new chairman, on alert. Here's a look at where AI has already shown up in inflation and where it could crop up next. Electricity. AI data centers can have voracious appetites for energy, notably electricity and water, and the rapid expansion of these monoliths threatens to strain grids and drive prices up further. That's largely because demand is outrunning supply. Data center facilities can be built or expanded at double or triple the pace of new electricity generation systems needed to serve them. PJM Interconnection, America's largest grid operator, noted recently, combine those needs with retiring coal plants, increased electrification needs, extreme weather, and aging infrastructure, and it further widens the gap between supply and demand. Data centers are demanding huge amounts of power, and that's tending to crowd out the electricity available to distribute to residents. It also led to wholesale electricity prices being bid up because data centers are willing to pay the price that providers ask them for, and that ends up also raising the prices for residential electricity costs, says Pooja Sriram, a U.S. economist at Barclays. Now, why they post a picture of this lady back? Anyways, U.S. Consumer Price Index. I'd be so mad if somebody post a picture of just my back. Trifling. U.S. Consumer Price Index data shows that residential electricity prices rose about twice as fast in 2025 as compared to the average seen in years prior, she noted. And through the first 5 months of this year, electricity prices were climbing even faster than in 2025, the Bureau of Labor Statistics data shows. I think that is one of the clearest imprints of AI data center demand driving up residential electricity costs. She said, electricity prices unexpectedly fell 1% in June, but continue to outpace overall inflation and are up 4% from a year ago, the latest CPI data shows. Memory chips. The data center's appetites, however, aren't fully sated with power alone. The massive buildouts are led to a surge in demand for memory chips, which has benefited manufacturers handsomely, Sharam said. This is the main thing that Elon Musk has. Like, all the data centers are just housing these memory chips. They don't have anything else other than that. Because, like she said, it is the biggest demand. The issue is not just the demand, the issue is the supply side for those memory chips has been constrained. Yes, and there's a monopoly on them too. The trillions of dollars chasing AI-related components now have storage and memory suppliers prioritizing their wafer manufacturing capabilities toward high bandwidth and high speed and high profitable memory and highly profitable memory products commanded by data centers, she said. What that does is basically divert the production of memory chips that you need for consumer products towards very specific high performance memory chips that the data centers need. That's very true. The pricing pressures of these and other components have been most evident at the producer level. The producer price index chart semiconductor. It's so crazy. I just recorded a video about these semiconductors. Anyways, the producer price index chart semiconductor and other electronic component manufacturing industries looks like a hockey stick. Oh, because it's just going like that. Yeah, and the Elon Musk data centers only have those semiconductors in them with all those memory chips. That's all they have in them. And that's like why they're so valuable. It's actually crazy. As of June, that category's wholesale prices were up 26% from a year ago, a stark shift from June 2025, when prices were falling 0.8% on an annual basis, PPI data shows. Yeah, Elon Musk just bought 200,000 of those computer chips to put in a new data center. Why this matters for the end consumer is at the end of the day, our laptops, computers, iPhones, iPads all have some sort of memory chip embedded in that hardware, and those chips have become quite expensive. Yup. Computer hardware and software. Last month, Apple hiked the prices for some of its most popular products by roughly 20%. In a statement, the company noted that AI data centers created an extraordinary surge in demand for memory and storage. And Sony upped the price of its PlayStation console earlier this year, and Microsoft last month raised the price of its Xbox consoles by about 25% for similar reasons. This is true. Very true. It's annoying too. The entire consumer electronics industry is struggling with the current components crisis, but the effects are particularly hard on consoles, Microsoft wrote in a statement. Here's my question. Why won't all the other big tech people bully Elon Musk and they tech people and the AI people? I feel like they could win that, but whatever. Computers and related hardware have typically been in highly deflationary product category in the CPI. Because of technological advancements, consumers can get more bang for their buck. For example, a $1,500 computer in 2025 was likely more powerful than a $1,500 year ago model. And as such, the BLS treats this as a price drop. I don't know what the BLS is, but okay, sure. For the first half of 2026, however, computers and related products have experienced price inflation. BLS data shows. I don't know what BLS is once again. Also, I'm done reading the story. This is lame.
Got you. Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Oh, not they using acronyms. Okay. I mean, when they gonna get to something that we don't already know? The lady just talking.
Yeah, I think this was just an overview, like you said, about what's making everything more expensive.
Yeah. I mean, I will say the construction costs when I read that part because that's important too. Data centers also are impacting the supply of other key construction inputs such as copper and electrical wiring, as well as workers. This is very true. If you're looking for data that was conclusive about AI's effect on the economy and inflation, albeit a bit more subtle, you would look and see whether wages in construction were growing up more than wages in the rest of the economy, said Thierry Wisman, global FX and rate strategist at the Macquarie Group. Because if in fact there is upward pressure, straining resources of the economy because of the AI data center build out, you will see it in wages as well, specifically in the wages of labor that will be working these products, he added. So far, the available national level wage data is showing a robust divergence between the construction sector and the aggregate, he noted. Regional data could prove even more telling, he said, noting the importance of tracking construction wages in areas with a high concentration of data centers. That will take more patience, however, as that more localized data is lagged due to collection and modeling needs. I would say this is actually something we've done in Memphis, and the only thing that we really able to track that I think was the most important is that like they're hiring people from other places. None of these like construction workers and stuff aren't being hired from Memphis. They already had companies they wanted to hire that they brought in. Like they're literally like housing these people to build out these data centers. They're not from here at all. And then lastly, we're having a problem with housing in the country these days. People talk about it as being unaffordable. Wisman said it could be the case that the fact wages in construction have been rising a lot. It's putting upward pressure on houses as well. Interesting. I could slightly believe that maybe, but not really. You had me reading aloud like we was in the 4th grade. My God.
Yeah, you did the whole thing. Appreciate you.
You're welcome. I won't be doing anything else. I'm
We
kidding. I'm
appreciate the
kidding.
contribution. I think you already got it. What I was gonna point out when as you were reading, which is just the skepticism, like the way they frame this is ridiculous. A lot of ways, like you were just like, this is propaganda, straight up. Like they're about to tell you everything is going to shit, but right before that, they're like, yeah, this is only 0.2%, and it's actually not that bad. And if you look at it this way, then maybe it'll be okay. But the bad news is it's actually going to be going up forever, and these companies have $750 million invested in them as a hobo. So just very funny. Even at the end, like you said, maybe you could buy that, but it's funny as hell that it's framing it as worker wages going up is the problem, and not the people profiting at the top in these markets. So no, maybe paying workers enough to live when there's more demand for building new things is not the problem. Maybe it's the people who are profiting off the building who don't work. I don't know, but I'm not a CNN economist or whoever the hell they pulled for this article. So
And
thought it
you
was a
don't
good
have to
overview.
be. You just have lived experience and common sense. That's really all you need.
Yep, just like I said with the last thing with the Gusanos, they don't like common sense and you asking critical questions using your critical thinking skills. Um, Black people need to resist data centers just like Africans. Did Geechee, you pull that up? Oh, I'm not sure who did, but yeah, the neo colonies in Africa have to resist it just like the internal neo colonies in the
I
U.S.
pulled it up.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, from Memphis to Mozambique, we gotta resist. So.
Or from Memphis, Tennessee to Memphis, Egypt.
You just put me on. I feel like I learned that a while ago, but I did not remember there's a Memphis in Egypt. Wow, good to know. I know you'll be right back. Geechee, did you want me to pull this piece up? The National Policy Framework, Artificial Intelligence.
Yeah, I can pull it. I was just looking at that as Amber was reading. I didn't really see this before, and I was just kind of looking at. There's supposed to be a brief from yours truly again, the Buckers in chief. So Melania Trump is protecting children and adults victims from deep fake abuse, right? Because that's what we're worried about. And this one thing was saying something about AI development, including data infrastructure build out, should strengthen American communities and small business through economic growth and energy dominance, while ensuring communities are protected from harmful impacts. And in accordance to the Ratepayer Protection Pledge, Congress should ensure that resident ratepayers do not experience increased electricity costs as a result of new AI data center construction and operation. But they also are saying that AI infrastructure construction and operation, so AI developers can develop or procure on-site and behind-the-meter power generation to accelerate AI infrastructure build-out and enhance grid reliability. So these people are going to be, again, this actually shows you that they don't even have confidence that it won't impact, but they are kind of saying things.
Right.
And then they're letting them work on the grid to make sure the grid is reliable. For who and how. And then it shows you how it protects the creators, the publisher, the innovators. But yeah, I was just kind of like zooming through that real quick. But these, maybe we should start, as we do in the study group sometimes, study their documents and highlight the contradictions in their own documents.
Yeah, I was gonna say for folks in the chat when we talk about study, like the way Geechee has all these marked up, definitely something to model. I I agree. I think I'm glad Amber stepped away, but to the policy point, one of the first things I learned, and my degree did not teach me that much, but about policy, and we talked about the policy nerd types who get a lot of clout now, is it's about implementation, not what you write on the page. So you can write whatever on the page. This is like what we talked about with the classics case we studied in my degree was Brown v. Board. How it was said that desegregation was a thing, Supreme Court passes it, but there's no enforcement mechanism. There's no way to make sure it gets implemented at the local levels. And so it's just like we made a great decree from on high, and nobody's going to make sure that it actually gets executed on the ground. And I know a lot of people just know that through their own experiences in communities. So you don't have to get a fancy degree for that. But with this as well, I mean, sure, in the documents, they're going to put a bunch of stuff about, like you said, it's going to enhance the energy grid. Proof? What's the metrics for that? How? And then when we measure this stuff, because eventually people will, maybe not the government itself, maybe not the federal government, but local organizers might, or think tanks, or independent researchers, right? Let's say they measure it and then they show actually it's making the energy grid worse and it's polluting the planet and it's doing all the things that we already know based on this article it's doing. Now what? Because nothing in that piece, I guarantee we can go read through the whole thing, is going to have any sort of enforcement mechanism for what happens if people violate these things. And to the person who, Amber can bring you up, Elon Musk, he is the perfect example of how you can keep violating damn near everything that's written down and you only keep failing up. So it's not going to matter if this country, if the political economy, capitalists have set it up that they want this thing, it's going to happen, right? And what I also think that article misses, although it does mention the 750 billion number, is how the U.S. economy, its growth is based on this AI bubble. And it's about to pop like every other bubble that happens, and that's the boom and bust of capitalism. So they're acting like the risk is just these fields, and they are. Like software prices going up, your electricity price going up, which is again a problem of capitalism. Why can a private company control basic life sustaining things like water and electricity? But the economy itself is in a bubble right now because they all are betting on AI and the technology isn't as valuable as they're valuating it at. They don't have control of the supply chain, right? So it's like China's got a chip. I think someone mentioned that in the chat. China's got control of the supply chain. China's got AI like DeepSeek that's not as environmentally damaging as ChatGPT. And so they're losing in the market. They aren't evaluating the technology accurately, which is just common with these companies. And it's destroying the planet and infrastructure. So at that point, you know.
I think I know who the blame is. It's you niggas who eat seedless watermelons. Y'all the niggas that's blaming. AI seedless watermelon. It's y'all niggas.
It's us, the GMO crew.
Y'all niggas who eat seedless watermelon. Y'all, this y'all shit. This all y'all shit. I'm gonna sit back and watch. I'm gonna eat my seeded watermelon like you know them sisters on the AI picture when they sit back and drink coffee and watch the world burn. I'm gonna eat my motherfucking seeded watermelon and watch y'all take care of this shit.
This is Dr. Sebi's revenge.
Yeah, CMOS and Shilajit and seeded watermelon. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna watch and eat that shit while y'all niggas figure this out.
Eat my broccoli, which isn't real. And, eat my mucus and my allergies. Honestly, I mean, when people are faced with massive, obstacles like this, it is a lot easier to retreat into like the things you can't control. So your diet isn't the problem, or it's because we're just not, or the people who just grift immediately. And they're like, oh, this is just because we haven't figured out how to use this technology. And that was the thing is, on the late stage, whatever you want to call it, under capitalism, there's so many grifts and bubbles and collapses that you just can't even keep track, or they're happening at the same time. So this is all happening while the crypto shit is going on, right? So they have to have their policy on AI. They also should have their policy on crypto. I'm pretty sure the president of the United States has his own coin, which is a conflict of interest, like according to the white people's own laws. So we just saw this shit with crypto. We just saw the reaction of like, you got to hop on the crypto train, bro. You got to get on this. You got to invest. You got to get this new technology. And we were also talking about crypto's effect on the planet and how the mining technology is like horrible for the planet. So that rift collapsed. Literally, the American Airlines arena got renamed after a crypto company with the cult leader who kind of ran off to the Bahamas, whatever his name was, over FTX.
Multiple stadiums got named after them.
In LA, it's the crypto arena now. So we just saw that boom and bust. That collapse is ongoing. And now it's going to be this year. I'm surprised we don't have a ChatGPT stadium yet, or OpenAI doesn't have some sort of thing, because they're going to do that. They're going to put their names all over this stuff. They're going to make it your reality, and then it's going to pop again. And I'm just curious what that pop is going to look like, because this one is apparently a $1 trillion bubble that AI is dealing with. So
go ahead, Amber.
I just want to say, I also think the other folks to blame in this whole entire situation is y'all grandmas and aunties who keep playing that I Celebrate Me AI song at their 70th birthday parties, talking about ain't nobody clapping for me, so I'm clapping for myself. This shit is so fucking annoying. And they the main ones who gonna die early because of the AI and the air pollution and the lack of water. I'm just saying, stop playing them damn AI songs. They playing that shit everywhere. I saw my grandma playing it.
Can we throw the niggas who do the Camden Bop? Niggas who do the Camden Bop? It's y'all too. It's y'all fault. The Camden viral dance.
What they got to do with AI?
It's them niggas' fault. The seedless watermelon, the grandmothers who do the AI song, and the Camden Bop people.
I feel like the aunties and the grandmas with the AI songs at the top of the list.
I was just about to say, Amber, hold on, I got us. Wait, what's you heard this one?
I can't hear it. We can't hear it.
Y'all never heard this?
You gotta share your screen. We can't see it.
Oh my God, I have the wrong thing. Hang on. I'm hearing it in my headphones like this is crazy. This is a trend. My bad. I'm sharing the wrong way. Hold on.
Yeah.
Struggling with the tech. Y'all seen this? Let me find it. Hold on.
Girl, black woman, a power anthem. You ain't never seen power like this. Black woman, built for greatness. Let them know who they dealing with. You ain't never met a woman like me, dripping in power, ripping in queen.
Hey,
if we get copyrighted for this, by the way, crazy.
Probably.
Crazy.
Lost. Take that shit off.
Where's the hook? Wait, I need the hook.
I got gold in my things. They love my curves. They love my...
man, I haven't heard the whole thing, but I'm a phenomenal black woman. I have seen so many people react to this trend. So
Bro,
we don't
the
blame the
aunties literally
aunties.
be on TikTok talking about some, I'm a phenomenal black woman. I'm like, girl, turn that shit off.
With grace.
I ain't never see that shit.
Even the cover is AI. It is so disturbing. Oh my God. For those of y'all who haven't seen Phenomenal Black Woman, type in the challenge. It's hilarious.
And
I'll
let me
find
just
the
say
hook.
one more thing. Everybody who keeps singing that, I just wanna dance, baby. That's an AI song. He wrote 2 lines and put that shit into AI and then wrote the rest of the song for him.
They
Let me tell you about my ghetto lover. And she got 4 brothers. Yeah, AI.
Wow. I didn't know that. Yeah, Leah, I agree. I've heard enough. I thought the kids were having, so it's getting everybody. It's getting the grandmas, it's getting the babies. Everybody's falling for the AI songs. This is crazy.
Ain't no way y'all thought that little motherfucker who looked like he 12 years old wrote a hit song.
What you mean? Our people, that's our history is black kids 12 years old writing hit songs and shit. What was that? Silent
He
Soul?
not even
Watch
he
Me
not even
Whip?
smart enough. He not even putting enough words together for me. Nope.
Watch Me Nay Nay? Must be Whip. How old was he? He was like 13, 14 years old.
No,
Oh
he was
man.
not. He was like 17.
Silento? Nah,
Yes.
we gotta. I gotta prove this. But we had once a mindless behavior. They were like 12, 13. We have a bunch of like 12, 13-year-olds making hits.
Get my missus right. I'm trying to see
Exactly.
her. Travel all across the
Exactly.
world just to meet her. But that's a Disney Channel song. You know that's real lyrics. They didn't use AI to write that.
AI wasn't around yet. Hang on, let me see. What
Bring
is
back
this?
real
This
songwriters.
how Silento made it in 2015. So how old is Silento? He was born in 98, so he's 28 years old. So how old was he in 2015? Let's do some math. Yeah, you're right. Like 17. Damn. Amber is
Exactly.
right. Amber is right.
Because I know because that nigga was in Memphis coming to the school singing a little whip whip nay nay song.
He was at the pep rallies. Oh man, good times.
Yes, he was doing pep rallies and everything.
I remember that era. Didn't Kendrick Lamar and Terry Crews do that little dance? What a time. 2015 hip hop. We got one more, maybe. One more story, and then it's time to close. Um, let's see. I want to save some of these. This is easy. This is in the EYL wheelhouse. Hold on. Let me get you. It's light work for you. LeBron James is known to support Black-owned businesses. What Philly can expect? All right, so LeBron James has made his last decision. He's going to the Philadelphia 76ers and what Amber always calls the MNBA. Yeah, first of all, new edition. Thank you. More points in my favor, but yeah. So LeBron's going to Philly, and he's known to support Black-owned businesses. Now, I don't how. I don't know what that means. Maybe the article will tell us a little bit, but hopefully he's going to support Black business in Philly. Let's see. Philadelphia business owners are already asking themselves the same question: how do we make sure this moment reaches us? For Sonia Sohn Combs, owner of Smokin' Sohn's Fresh Grill in West Philly, the answer could be as simple as creating a LeBron night. First and foremost, as a native Philadelphian, I'm thrilled that LeBron is coming and hopeful that the Sixers can win a ring now. From a business perspective, I haven't had the chance to really process it, but I'm hoping to do some specials like a LeBron night as we get closer to the season. And in West Philly, we are all excited and just hope that things turn out as expected. Nearly 6 miles away on Germantown Ave, Aaron Johnson is hoping the four-time NBA champion's reputation for supporting Black-owned businesses reaches Philadelphia. Where is the evidence of this, though? They keep saying it. They've said it like 3 times now. What Black businesses? We can certainly be hopeful. Johnson, co-owner of the Moving Philly, said LeBron has a reputation for reaching out to Black-owned businesses, and so does Sixers teammate Jaylen Brown. So we know what they can and have done for Black business. I have every reason to be hopeful because it's going to be anyone who boosts our business. It's going to be a LeBron James.
I'm about to quit, bro. I swear, dog. Jaylen Brown and LeBron on the same team in Philadelphia with Meek Mill, with Wale. What them niggas name? The twins, the cousins, Gilly them, Kevin Hart.
Jay-Z licking his lips right now, rubbing his hands like Birdman.
Bro. So what I was thinking when y'all was talking is like, when well, they probably duped us a long time ago. But I'm going to blame the niggas, and I'm with these niggas too. The niggas who used to play video games and create players. When you can create your own player and your name and whatever. And like, they gave us all the tools to create the world of make-believe, and we are out creating them. And all I can tell is when LeBron, and I don't know when the Jaylen boy went to Philly, but because of people thinking how intelligent he is, and he's a Harvard lecturer, and he has the blueprint, between him, LeBron, Kevin Hart, and Philly, I don't know if it's already in the brew, but I see a Wakanda story happening in Philadelphia. And if all the racist shit that the NBA players and NBA owners and all the NBA stuff did, that shit is going to be forgiven by mid-season because of what these idiots are gonna do in Philadelphia. So
Let Will Smith have it too.
I
He
have a
don't even really be in
question.
Miami.
I have a question. My question is, how is LeBron gonna be investing so much in the economy in Philly when he won't even live there?
Amber, you a hater. Why are you asking all these questions, bro? Why can't you just accept that he's a good black man?
LeBron said he's not moving there, so how he gonna invest in the economy?
My brother's theory is that he actually
Turn
wants
it
to be in New
on.
York.
Turn it on.
My brother's theory is he wants to be in New York. I mean, so
I mean,
one of
the argument is he's gonna fill fucking seats and people gonna be flying all or whatever. So he's bringing tax revenue. So that's gonna be the argument. He's gonna do more than for Philly than so and so.
we're about to see that actually come up in this
I
article.
don't give a damn. I'm not flying. I wouldn't be flying to Philly for that motherfucker. Philly?
I mean, so yeah, we'll get to it in a second with this article. But one of the things early on for me with billionaires that when I was coming to consciousness really helps. And shout out Citations Needed. It's a media journalism podcast. Really good. I haven't listened in a while, but they always had solid shows. And they had a Bill Gates episode. And it was just a basic question at the beginning. Have you ever seen a negative news story about Bill Gates? And I was just like, huh. No, I haven't. And then they gave you like an experiment. They're like, just go to Google right now and type in Bill Gates in the news and see what Google gives you. And you just go and it's like 5 pages straight of just positivity. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is curing food insecurity in Africa, and they're doing this, and he's doing that, and he's donating to public schools. Literally, like nothing but positive stories. And they're like, yeah, well, who do you think owns these corporations, these media outlets, all of that? It was just so simple for me. So as we have our own black billionaires now, it's very obvious that the news is going to start following them as well. The corporate media ecosystem is going to start saying they're the best and they do all this amazing stuff. So when they're saying he supports black businesses, blah, 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 I'm like, I guess the main thing they're going to say is the I Promise School. Now, I think we've covered on this show like how the I Promise School actually hasn't lived up to its expectations, how it's not performing at grade level, or the students are struggling to graduate, those kinds of things.
It's not his school. It's a charter school that he donated to, and the white people raised more funds for that school than he did.
Just like Jay-Z and the Net. So yes, already that. But that was it. I was like, I guess the I Promise School is what they're gonna pull out here, and that was years ago, mind you. Like that is so if that's the only thing that y'all got, that's what's going to be in here. So they're saying he supports black business. They've made it a fact. They've defined the reality, power, the ability to define phenomena. So the whole time they said LeBron supports black business. You've seen it 4 times in the article so far. And then when you finally get this example, it's the thing from like 10 years ago that has already been proven to not do what it's intended to do, which is I Promise. And similarly, when Jay-Z was on the stage delivering that whack freestyle recently, he also was like, I've gotten people out of jail or whatever, and he's talking about reform. And we've also covered on here how reform didn't do what it's supposed to do and has all these allegations and problems, right? So this is how corporate media works for billionaires. This is going to gas you up, say you're doing all this great stuff. But I thought this was interesting. So economic value, some economists remain divided. There's a limit to how much attendance can grow in Philadelphia. Capitalism, contradictions. The arena was almost full last season, said Manny Soto, an operations director on the Burning Daily, a California company which tracks stadium economics. Okay, I actually I want to do a quiz for y'all. Okay, it might have been spoiled already. So if the ticket attendance, if the stadium attendance is already almost full, how are the capitalists going to make more money? What are they going to do? Because it's the obvious answer, and it's not going to help black people. So the stadium is already full or near full. They're selling tickets. They can only sell a set number of tickets. If you're a capitalist, quiz for the audience, how do you make more money? What is the only solution? Anyone know? I'm waiting for audience answers. Someone's already there. $50 beers, right? What else in terms of the ticket? But yes, you just raise the prices for the tickets. That's all you can do. You price people out. You decrease the wages, you fire people, you increase the rate of extraction somehow. So yes, that's Steven's got the answer. So whether that's going to be you start charging more for parking right in the area, you start charging more for drinks and for merchandise. Scam harder. You decrease the wages, so now the parking attendants are now part-time or something like that. And then what they say here, which is the bigger impact will come from ticket prices and increased premiums on the secondary market. So that's it. So that if the stadium only has so many seats, they're not going to use the revenue and build more seats. They're not going to build bigger stadium. They're just going to now start charging more dollars, and then you who was able to go see your Philly team and support them at a 300 section, you're going to be in the nosebleed seats. And come the playoffs, good luck. Some rich dude from New York is going to buy all the tickets up for $15,000 while you're watching outside. And so I already see this. Like, how does this help black business? Maybe because all the black people can't afford to go to the stadium anymore. They're going to go to your local black bar and watch the thing there. That might be the only way it really helps. So from there, it says sports economist at the College of Holy Cross in Worcester, Massachusetts. All of these people, okay, a bunch of names of professors, each question whether the gains would extend much beyond the team itself. They pointed to decades of research showing that professional sports often redistribute consumer spending rather than create substantial new economic activity. For Tyler Rogers, a private investigator and president of Priven Network in Chandler, Arizona, the answer won't come from projections. Ignore the estimate, Rogers said. Look at actual hotel occupancy, restaurant revenue, parking taxes, SEPTA ridership, and city tax filings. If those numbers rise on Sixers game nights, you've got real economic impact. And so I appreciate this person giving us something to actually measure this by, rather than all the people at the start of this article who just said LeBron is good for black business. Neither SEPTA nor the local parking authority provided much in the way of expectation. We have to study it more closely, PPA spokesman Martin O'Rourke wrote in an email to the Tribune. However, Joyce at Live added that Philadelphia's hospitality industry believes it's already prepared for the arrival of King James. Amber already said he's not going to live there. No. He's not living there. But anyway.
Hey, you
LeBron,
know the NBA teams don't really make money off ticket sales, right? They're like the advertisement and marketing and media rights is what they, they get their money from. So like ticket sales ain't really important to them. That's why San Antonio was able to be like, Knicks fans, we're gonna return y'all tickets because we don't need y'all in our building, because they literally don't have to sell any tickets, and the owners would have enough money, not only in the money that they made over the years, but they would have enough money for that year to make a net profit. Because again, like when you walk in and you see so-and-so on the floor and you see the printed stuff and then the TV stuff, they getting all that money. So the ticket sales is just really not important.
Yeah. So now, they can sell more advertising space. They can clog up the camera with the Pepsi sponsored Red Bull Power Play, whatever it is. Yeah. Exactly.
If nobody comes see if nobody comes see LeBron play on the Sixers, they would already made enough money to pay LeBron and then some.
Mm-hmm. So I like this article. There's a lot of good capitalist mythology for you to investigate and debunk. So it's saying LeBron will draw national and international fans who want to catch a game. Again, how does this help the people of Philly? Joyce said, just as we saw this summer with the World Cup and MLB All-Star Week, fans will stay in hotels, dine at restaurants, visit shops, and spend their money here, get assaulted by ICE. And that increased activity will help support jobs at ICE, generate more tax revenue, and strengthen our ability to continue to invest in Philly. So again, just this myth. Look at Atlanta with the Olympics. Look at Miami with the World Cup. The only people getting more jobs is police getting overtime to lock up homeless people. Right? Amber, go ahead.
No, I said, well.
So nothing. We don't get nothing from this. But this is a myth. So all these rich people from around the world will come to see LeBron, and that's somehow going to drive up local spending. It's trickle-down economics all over again. Not much more on this article. It kind of repeats itself. But LeBron James will continue coming to Philadelphia and elevate the city, our sports, our fashion, our culture. So what the Claudia Jones quote, don't make me tap the sign. The black bourgeoisie only trade in petty bourgeois nationalism. That's all they got for us. He's going to help the culture. What is the culture? To accept all the things, the measurable, materialist things that they ask for that would actually measure economic activity? None of that. But he's going to help our fashion and our culture, right? So that's all we get from LeBron James coming to Philly. Those expectations are shared by many of Philly's hospitality operators. It's going to generate excitement, culture, fashion, all these like intangible things. So I think that's it. Good luck. Maybe talk to Jaylen Brown. Then they pull out this figure that kind of, I don't like, again, where does this come from? There's it says some consultants with the Boyd Company estimate James could generate between 250 million and 430 million in regional economic activity if his arrival creates new spending instead of redirecting entertainment dollars. All right. So, they'll sell a lot when LeBron has his last game in Philly or something like that. And then they give the example. After all, Michael Jordan's final 2 seasons with the Wizards might have been the best stimulus package ever seen in Washington. Again, proof, source, evidence. We don't have any. So that's our stories for today, y'all. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, follow us on Patreon, where YouTube doesn't take a 30 to 50% cut of all of that we get. If you do give a super chat, we welcome that as well. And I want to thank y'all for being here as we start to close out. Amber, Geechee, what y'all got coming up this weekend?
I'm going to be in Baltimore for a couple weeks, finishing up the program with the young people. And then got a community meeting tomorrow. Still doing some struggle against these data centers who are trying their best to make the communities fight. These CBAs are full of shit. And then, I finished my curriculum. I'm excited about that. One of the last classes of the semester, I'm trying to get some Black Liberation Media people to come in to one of the class. So, Lark, I already let you know that I want to be.
Fly me out.
We ain't got no money now. That's cover your own ticket. Tell the DSA hook you up.
I would have come on my own.
All right, good. Come on down. What you got going on, Lord?
Black August kickoff event, Roots Bookstore tonight in Miami. And then our Bold and B&B Black August grounding, that's going to be on Monday, August 3rd. Definitely more for us to cover here. I'm excited. Maybe we can pick up some of this next week, because my mom sent me something, because she's listening, about the Spring Hill Company and LeBron James and the Black businesses he was able to support through his Spring Hill operation. But what she does not know is we covered Maverick Carter and LeBron James and Spring Hill and their investment in Israel. So I think that's a great point for me to pick up on next time, Mom. We're going to talk a little bit about Spring Hill. But yeah, there are definitely nonprofits that support Black business. But anyway, that's my events. Black August kickoff come through tonight, or our Bold B&B grounding. Also, check out our YouTube channel. We just talked about free healthcare for all. Our Theory Thursday is up, and we had a mass call last night that was really dope too, with some healthcare practitioners in our community. So, Amber, how about you?
Why did KJ say you can't use your trillions to fly out, Amber? Y'all are so funny. Y'all are so funny. I'm not doing anything this weekend, but I will say next week is election day through most of the country, especially in the South. We have election day on Thursday, and so I can't wait to do an election recap on Friday. Very excited to see if Donovan McKinney wins his race for Congress, if Justin Pearson wins his primary, if Abdul Saeed wins his primary, if Courtney McLean in South Carolina, the youngest Gen Z person running right now, wins her primary. Really excited to see what happens with those elections. I don't know if we talked like heavy about the whole DSA and people saying they're like infiltrating the Democratic Party or not, but there's a lot of Democratic socialists running right now and admitting to be Democratic socialists and talking about being Democratic socialists and what that means, especially for Black people, because I really feel like they're trying to turn Democratic socialists into a slur. And I really appreciate folks like Donovan McKinney explaining like what democratic socialism means to Black people, which is really just like us receiving what we deserve from our government, the actual services that we need, actually putting back into our communities like we say we're going to do. Really appreciate that, brother, for doing that, and other folks who are running right now. So I'm excited, and I'm also ready for this shit to be over. They've been acting a motherfucking fool in Memphis. A motherfucking fool. And I'm over it.
Thanks for that, yo.
I'm never gonna. I'm never gonna. I was about to start talking shit about European cussing. Wait, did the Black people do the motherfucker, or did the white people do it? Like who started that phrase? Because I feel like that's one of their shit.
Yeah, who said the first motherfucker?
They said mother, and we said mother.
Okay.
But they probably started it. Cause that's a dumbass curse. I ain't gonna lie, I be using it, but it's a dumb curse.
Hi, Mom. Thank y'all.
Hi,
Appreciate
Lori's
y'all.
mom. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you.
Yes, yes. And as Chairman Fred Hampton, a socialist, the Democrat is silent, once said, peace, only if you're willing to fight for it. And we'll catch you next time on Black Liberation Media.
Black Liberation Media is a collective of Black and African organizers, journalists, academics, and media personalities serving Black and African masses seeking to further grow in their understanding of themselves, their histories, and the African world through entertainment and news. Please continue to like, subscribe, and donate to the channel so we can further serve you and liberate our people. You can also go to blkliberationmedia.org, get some merchandise, and also become a Patreon member and a member from the YouTube. Please do what you can, share, and show your love as we will show ours for you. Black Liberation Media.